Jai Shri Radha Govinda Madhav ki, Shri Krishna Balaram ki, Shri Gonitai ki Jai, Shri Purnima ki, Shri Radhakund Prakot ki, Shri Krishna Vasanta Ras ki, Shri Balaram Rasa Dance ki, Shri Sriman Thakur ki, Shri Shamananda Prabhu ki, Gaur Premanande, Srila Prabhupada ki. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Agyantimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Shakshu Militam Yena Tashmai Shri Guravena Namaha. Shri Radha Krishna Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Swagatam Suswagatam. So, yes, today is a very auspicious day. You can see the moon in the sky. It's Purnima, full Purnima, and of course, as we know, it marks the divine, lots of divine events. We'll start off with Shri Balaram, Dauji. Dauji means the big brother of Krishna. That's in Sanskrit, you say Dauji in Hindi. So he also has his Ras Yatra, his Rasa dance, with his own set of gopis. There's two types of Rasa Lila. One is in the autumn season, and now we are in which season?
Spring.
Vasanta. Vasant Panchami, it's a bit earlier in Feb. So one Rasa Lila takes place in the autumn, and the other one is now in Vasant. On Vishak, this is called Vishak Purnim. Vishak means April, basically. Of course, the Sanskrit months, they lapse for 2 months of our months. So Sri Balaram Ji, this is the time he performed his Rasa Lila. So it's drawn from Krishna book. There's a chapter 2, it's there. And also the 10th canto. That in order to keep the gopis in Vrindavan satisfied, he stayed there. He had gone already long back. Prior to that, he had gone with Krishna. Remember, he left with Krishna by the intervention of Akrura. And they never came back. They went to Mathura, and from Mathura they proceeded to? Not immediately. First they went for a couple of months, 64 days. They went to Ujjain, Avanti. That's where they got schooled. In 64 days the school was over. They mastered 64 arts in 64 days. So that's their schooling, 64 days. And from there, they proceeded to Dwarka for 96 years. So it's a fact that Lord Krishna told at one point Lord Balaram, you please go back. And he went back for 2 months. This is the time now he came back. And he performed the Ras Lila, the Vasant. Chaitra and Vishak for 2 months, basically. And he kept himself amongst the gopis. He passed every night with them in the forest of Vrindavan in order to satisfy their desire for conjugal love. So here immediately we have to make a very clean-cut distinction. Radha Krishna pranaya vikriti ladini shakti rasmat. Ekat manavapi bhuvi buddhadeyam garuto Chaitanya kyam prakatamaduna shekamaptam radhabhav duti suvaditam numi Krishna svarupa. This is a very important verse. It is spoken by Swarup Damodar Gosai. Who can be closer than Swarup Damodar Gosai to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Radha Krishna pranaya vikriti ladini shakti rasmat. The pranaya, the love between Yugala Kishore and Srimati Radharani is vikriti ladini. Vikriti means transformation of ladini shakti. We should never see any tinge of lust pertaining to this world. We tend to, Atmavan Manyato Jagat, we tend to superimpose our understanding of the world upon the devotees, masters, Srila Prabhupada. Even we dare to do that on the Lord, on their lordships. That's a major mistake. So, Ekat Manavapi Bhuvi Buddha Deya Bedam Katuto. They are actually one in identity, Shekamaptam. But again, obviously, they have again become, even though they are one in identity, they are two. That's the point. But again, they have become one again in the form of Mahaprabhu. We should never belittle Srimati Radharani compared to Krishna. They are one in identity. You understand? It's totally achintya. How can you be two persons and one in identity? You follow? So this is what Krishna is. They're one in identity. But again, we know, by the grace of the Acharya, that they have become one in person now, in the form of Mahaprabhu. Radhabhav duti suvaritam numi Krishna svarupam. So Mahaprabhu is Krishna Swarup, but he has taken from Srimati Radharani two things. What are those two things? Radhabhav, Radhaduti, the complexion, golden, and the bhav, the love. So all this to say that we should never superimpose our shortcomings upon. He's having here desires, the gopis have desires for conjugal love. We should not impose our inebriaties on this concept, on this reality. Now, it's also Krishna Vasant Ras, see? So, we know that there is a Purnima during the Kartik season, right? With Damodar Kartik, Vrat. It happens on the second full moon day of the autumn season, actually, to be precise. And Ras Lila is celebrated, as we know. Again, the set of gopis are not the same between Lord Krishna and Balaram. There's two different sets of gopis. They don't enjoy the same gopis. They have their own sets of gopis. And the second Rasa Yatra is celebrated more in Bengal, whereas the one that we know in Vrindavan, Kartik, is more in Vrindavan, this one. The one of today, it's more celebrated in Bengal. So how do we conduct the ceremony? Just like we have seen the pujaris here, bedecked their lordships with lots of flowers. Ras Mandap, the Ras Mandap means the Shingasan, and it should be totally surrounded by gopis. In the Ras Lila, Krishna is not alone. There's billions of gopis. The Ras Lila lasts how long? Do you know? One night of Brahma, which is 4,320,000,000 years. And for them, it's like a flick of an eye. So it is Vasant Krishna Ras. Everyone is dressed in yellow. Well, I guess it's It should be dressed in yellow today. And tonight, we have been to Vrindavan, they also do it in... Tonight, what we should be doing? Payesh. Payesh means sweet rice. You should put it on the rooftops. Purnima will bathe with pour nectar on that sweet rice. So tonight you should put sweet rice payasham for the Lord to enjoy during his Rasa Lila. This is, in Vrindavan, I remember it's a common feature. Today is also Radhakund Prokot. Bengali say Prokot. Prokot. Aprokot means non-manifested. Prokot means manifested. So we will refer to the Radhakund Ashtakam by Raghunath Das Goswami. He has beautifully described this occurrence. It's also Snandan. You have tonight, if you are in Vrindavan, around midnight you go in Radhakund. It's very cold, and there's millions of people. I mean, throngs of people. I didn't count, but it's packed. Tonight, if you go to Radhakund, I've been there a few times, and you take a dip in Radhakund tonight. This is the time. So let's hear from Raghunath Das Goswami. Is the Acharya for Prayojan Tatwa, Gopinath. So after the killing of Aristasura, Srimati Radhika and her Sakhis exchanged many joking words with Shri Krishna concerning the necessary atonement for one who has committed the offense of killing a bull. Of course, bull means dharma. As a result, the queen of Vrindavan, Srimati Radhika, and her Sakhis joyfully excavated and filled Sri Radhakund with their own hands. They were bringing buckets of water from Manasi Ganga to fill out the kund, right? May that immensely fragrant Radhakund be my shelter. This is a song composed by Raghunath Das Goswami. In the land of the hearts of those who bathe in Radhakund, a desire tree of the superlative Prem, which is not even attainable for Krishna's principal queens in Dwarka, will arise. The Radhakund, remember, Radhakund is, in terms of hierarchy, according to Epadeshamrit, it is the highest place in the universe. You cannot, in terms of hierarchy, this is the highest. You have Vrindavan. To make a long story short, there's Haridam, okay? Then you find within Haridam, you find Vaikunt, then Ayodhya, Dwarka, Mathura, Vrindavan. Within Vrindavan, you find the 12 forests, then you find Govardhan, and then you find Radhakund. So this is the last rung of the ladder. There's nothing higher than Radhakund in the three worlds. So even the queens of Dwarka, they cannot access to Radhakund. May that supremely charming Radhakund be my shelter. For the pleasure of Srimati Radhika, even Shri Krishna himself is yearning to attain her merciful sidelong glance. He himself regularly bases in Radhakund. Carefully, yes.
Tu es en train de dire que même Krishna, il ne peut pas aller dans Radha.
Non, il peut y aller. He's yearning. Yearning, ça veut dire il est absolument désireux. Yearning, c'est un strong desire. Il est très désireux.
I'm sorry, Prabhu. It's good maybe pronounce it there.
If I do the...
If you sit there and do it.
Yeah, go ahead. So, and when he bases in the Radhakund, he's very careful in observing all the rituals, appropriately. So may that supremely enchanting Radhakund be the shelter be my shelter. May that supremely enchanting Radha Kund, which is the moon of Braj, Shri Krishna loves as much the Radha Kund as he loves the crown jewel amongst the sweet girls of Braj. So Radha Kund and Srimati Radharani are on the same level.
Alors, il y a, comment il s'appelle celui qui fait la prière?
Raghunath Das Goswami.
Raghunath Das Goswami, il dit, s'il vous plaît, faites que ce Radha-Kund puisse être mon refuge. Et il est dit que le Radha-Kund est plus cher à Krishna que les joyaux qui sont...
Il est aussi cher à Krishna que Srimati Radharani. Hein. Voilà. Donc...
Il faut que tu fasses des phrases courtes, sinon...
C'est ça, ouais. Donc ça va prendre à peu près 5-6 jours la classe.
Voilà.
Donc, yes. The mercy obtained by serving Radha Kund
donc la miséricorde qu'on atteint en servant Radha-Kund
makes the desire creeper of Prem
fait le désir du Prem, la
liane,
la liane
for the prince of Braj sprouts. In other words, if you serve Radha Kund, you will develop the desire for Prem, you will be granted with Prem for the prince of Braj. Who is the prince of Braj? Krishna.
Alors si tu sers le Radha-Kund, ça va faire naître en toi la petite liane de la dévotion et qui va vraiment plaire à Krishna.
Yes. So, and of course, Raghunath Das Goswami himself is a Saki, so he's praying in those terms.
Donc Raghunath Das Goswami est une des Sakis, donc il parle en ces termes.
And he says, this Radha-Kund is... the flower of service to my Swamini. Who is the Swamini of Raghunath Das Goswami? Srimati Radharani. So, en d'autres termes, le service que l'on offre, la miséricorde qu'on obtient en servant Radha Kund, va faire en sorte que la liane, le lierre, on pourrait dire, du prem, pur amour, pour Krishna, le prince de Braj, va jaillir, va grandir. Et donc, ça va donc encourager la fleur du service envers ma Swamini. Raghunath Das Goswami explained. Ma Swamini, c'est Srimati Radharani. May that supremely chanting Radha Kund be my shelter. Gloriously manifest on the banks of Radha Kund are the 8 kunjas, named after Radhika's principal Sakis.
C'est trop poétique, je peux pas...
Non, je traduis. Donc, tout ceci est très glorieux parce que sur les berges de la Radha Kund, vous avez 8 kunjas. Et ces 8 kunjas représentent bien sûr les Astasaki. Acting as a stimuli for the amorous pastimes of the divine couple, these kunjas are filled with the sweet humming of bumblebees and are desired by everyone. Donc, ces 8 kunjas qui sont autour du Radha Kund, ce sont des stimulus, comment on dit en français? Des stimuli pour les divertissements amoureux du couple divin. Et bien sûr, ces kunjas sont totalement remplis d'abeilles qui bourdonnent à foison. Et ces kunjas, bien sûr, sont désirés par tous les êtres. May that supremely enchanting Radha Kund be the shelter of my life. Situated on an exquisite dais on the bank of Radha Kund and accompanied by her beloved Sakis, how Swamini Srimati Radhika charmingly engages in sweet joking words with Shri Krishna, the moon of Braj. Donc ce qui se passe, c'est qu'ils sont assis. Ils sont assis sur un podium mais totalement magnifique, exquis, sur les bords du Radha Kund, et avec toutes ces Sakis, bien aimées, il y en a 8, eh bien, Swamini, Swamini, on dit en masculin Swami, Swamini féminin. Radhika, Srimati Radhika va engager, va plaisanter en fait avec Shri Krishna, de manière très charmante. These playful verbal exchanges are enhanced by the suggestion of so many innuendos. May that Radha Kund be the shelter of my life. Innuendo, ça veut dire des insinuations. Hein, vous savez quand on fait des jeux de mots en français, on insinue des choses. On ne dit pas directement, mais on insinue. On dit insinuer. Donc c'est la même chose, ils font des insinuations entre eux. May that very charming and especially fragrant Radhakund were intoxicated with love, the divine couple and the Sakhis daily sport with great joy in the water, so fragrant with exquisite lotus flowers, be the sole shelter of my life. Voilà, donc ce Radhakund extrêmement glorieux. Les eaux du Radhakund sont le dépositaire de l'amour de Dieu. So if you bathe in those waters, this is prem, it's like liquid prem. That is why Srila Prabhupada used to say, don't start crawling in the Radhakund. He put it to an end. Remember in the 70s, devotees were diving and crawling, Finished. He forbade them. And gradually in ISKCON, we dare to go back to it, but just dip, You may dip yourself in and out like this, or you just sprinkle,
Alors il est dit qu'il ne faut pas plonger ni faire de la natation dans le Radhakund, il ne s'agit pas de s'amuser, il faut juste se baigner respectueusement et faire ses ablutions.
Voilà. Okay, so to that devotee, so now it's talking to Raghunath Das Goswami is speaking about you. To that devotee who, in a resolute mood of aspiring to serve Srimati Radhika, reads this charming prayer or listens, describing Sri Radhakund, even in their present body, Sri Krishna will quickly grant them darshan of not only his beloved Radhika, but also of their many variegated amorous pastimes.
Il est dit que celui qui écoutera très attentionnellement les 8 versets
ou qui les lit, ou qui les écoute, Raghunath Das Goswami.
Radhakund Stakam.
Voilà, très bien.
Il aura alors directement le darshan personnel
de la bien-aimée Radhika, mais aussi de divertissement qui les accompagne. Witnessing these pastimes and envisioning himself or herself serving Yugala Kishore in various ways, such a devotee will feel immense jubilation. Donc, ce dévot, c'est vous en fait, mes chers amis, c'est vous qui allez bénéficier de ça. Vous allez pouvoir tôt ou tard témoigner, visualiser ces divertissements avec Yugala Kishore, qui s'adonnera à différents types de divertissements. Et vous ressentirez ainsi une grande jubilation. Voilà. Shri Radhakund Prakot Ki. So now today is also the appearance day of Vamshi Vadan Thakur.
Le jour d'apparence de Vamshi.
Apparition.
Jour d'apparition.
Vamshi Vadan Thakur, he used to be called Vamshi Vadanan Thakur or Shri Vamshi.
Donc c'est 3 noms de Vamshi Vadan.
Vamshi means?
Qu'est-ce que veut dire Vamshi?
The flute. So who is that personality? It's Krishna's flute. You understand? In Golila.
So c'est la flûte de Krishna.
Krishna Vanan Visha Krishna, Sango Pangashra Pashadam, Yagir Sankitan Praya, Yajanti Hi, Sumeda Saha. Krishna Vanan Visha Krishna. Even though we know Vanashram, but Vana means also color. Krishna Vanan Visha Krishna is not Asitam Buddha like Krishna. Krishna is Asitam Buddha. Asitam Buddha is color. But there's one person, he's not Asitam Buddha, but Visha Krishna is always reciting Krishna, 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 Krishna. This is who? Who is that person? Lord Chaitanya. Sango Pangastra Parashanam. He comes with his astra. Astra means weapons. Who are his weapons? Associates. Vishnu Parika, Vishnu Parashad. This is one of them. Vamshi. So he appeared today on the full moon of Purnima, month of Chaitra. So within Kuliya is when you as exposed by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Actually, what we know today as Navadvip was previously called Kuliya at the time of Mahaprabhu. So this is nowhere the place where Mahaprabhu was. And back to Thakur, he had to fight hard, to struggle, establish, ascertain, no, Mahaprabhu is not born here, he's born there. This is where ISKCON is today. It was not easy in those days, because people would not accept, no, he's born here, in today Navadvip, which is called Kuliya in those days. So anyway, this Prabhu, he lived that side. Tegari, Bechiyava, Bedrapara, Shinigan, Danga. So this is his line age, and there was one devotee, Shrikal Chatupadhyaya. Okay? He moved from Bilvagram to Bechinayagram. He had a son whose name was Yudhishthir Chatupadhyaya. In turn, this person had three sons, Madhav Das, Sri Hari Das, Shri Krishna Sampati. So this Madhav Das, he had a son whose name is Vamshivandan Thakur. Just imagine how close he is to Mahaprabhu. When Mahaprabhu came from Puri to have darshan of his mother, remember Mahaprabhu, he took sannyas in which year? 1510, and he was meant to go to Vrindavan to establish himself there, but he was tricked by Advaita, and he ended up, by Nityananda also actually, he ended up in the house of Advaita. Anyway, and then his mother told him, please, my dear son, better you establish yourself in Puri, it's much closer than Vrindavan. So he went to Puri, came back to Navadvip, took darshan of his mother and Ganga. He stayed 7 days in the house of this Prabhu, Sri Madhav Das, whose son was the young Vamshivandan Thakur, later to become Vamshivandan Thakur, at Kuliya. This is the place where he excused Devananda Pandit. Remember, Devananda Pandit was guilty of a great offense towards Srivas Thakur, and for many years he had to endure the reaction of that offense. But finally he got excused that time in the house of Madhav Das, who was the father of Vamshivandan Thakur. Not only he excused the offenses of Devananda Pandit, but all the other offenses. Chandra, Gopal Chakra, what is it? Gopal Chapal. Thank you, Prabhu. He also had committed a severe offense. So that was the time Mahaprabhu, he excused everyone. This is called Aparad Banjan Pat. It means the place where the aparad are nullified. Okay? So this young boy, Vamshi Thakur, his father is, we know, Madhav Das. His mother, Srimati Chandrakala Devi. He's Krishna's flute incarnated in Gaur Lila. Can you imagine? He's the flute of Krishna. See, on the transcendental plane, the form that we have, all these things are totally secondary. Table, mic, you can become a mic in the spiritual world. And why not? You can become a table on which Krishna will take prasad. This is very glorious. Your table is conscious of Krishna. There's no bar. Everything is absolute. Om Purnamada Purnamidam. Everything is one. Not oneness of the Mayavadis. What is the subtlety here? Oneness of, which all is one, everything is one, we are God also. How do you reconcile? Huh? Yeah, unity in diversity. One in interest. Yeah. So Imagine on the day of his birth, on the day of the boy's birth, this Vamshivadan Thakur, Mahaprabhu was there. So just imagine the glory of that person. He was in the house of Madhav Das, along with Advaitacharya. So this Madhav, the father, was very devoted to Mahaprabhu and also Advaita Prabhu. And Mahaprabhu was extremely affectionate to the father and the son, Vamshi. Vamshi was engaged in the service of Sri Vishnupriya. Who is Srimati Vishnupriya? The wife, the second wife of Mahaprabhu. First wife, she was bitten by the serpent of separation. And he got a lot of mercy from the second wife. So who are these ladies? These ladies, can you imagine, they're wives of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Are they jivas? No, they're Shakti Tattvas. No? They are personified energy. Bhu, Lila, they are personified energy of the Lord. So he had a lot of mercy from the second, Srimati Vishnupriya. So what happened? There's a Lila. This great lady, Sri Vishnupriya and Vamshi Thakur, they were so much steeped in the mood of separation that they decided to stop eating altogether. Because their bodies were so much racked with pangs of separation, they figured, better we might as well fast to death. What do you think, is it proper? Who did that also? Sanatana Goswami, remember, he was in that mood. Do you think it's okay? Mahaprabhu didn't approve. Mahaprabhu had already gone. So he manifested himself before them. Then he told them, don't behave so rashly. And he instructed them to worship the deity in order to mitigate their feelings of separation. So, and just imagine who's that deity you're going to find out. After Vishnupriya, Srimati Vishnupriya disappeared, this Vamshivadan, he took that deity and he brought him to Kuliya. And you may have taken darshan of this deity. This is the very first deity of Mahaprabhu. It's called Dameshvar. If you go to Navadvip today, you can take darshan. It's not in ISKCON, this deity, unfortunately, but perhaps one day. Very beautiful deity. And this deity is standing like this. And sometimes they dress him as Mahaprabhu. Sometimes they dress him or her as Vishnupriya. This is the very first deity. This deity, this is the injunction that Mahaprabhu told his beloved wife Srimati Vishnupriya, you please worship that deity. I'm not different from her, from that deity. That deity is still visible today. And if you go underneath the sole of the feet, you see carved the name Vamshivadan. So very special day. So now from the descendant, one of the descendants of Vamshivadan, his name was Ramachandra Goswami. He came to live at Bhagnapar. That was the time of Janavama. Janavama was the consort of Nityananda Prabhu. So Ramachandra Goswami was at that time. And gradually, the deities are being handed over. They are handed over to different acharyas. And then they can even still be present today. If you go to Vrindavan today, you find deities going back to the time of Vrajanabha. Vrajanabha was the great grandson of Krishna. So deities move. Sometimes we say we should not move the deities, but over centuries they tend to move. What to speak of thousands of years? They have to move sometimes because in India the Mughals would come and break the deities. So they had to hide the deities in the secrecy. Sometimes they were worshipped in secrecy for even centuries. You know, life is not easy on this planet, even for deities. See, Krishna, he follows the path of his devotee. My devotee is trying to worship me, so let me also be carried around like a luggage, practically, like a piece of luggage. Yes.
Maybe we can continue the translation.
Oh yeah. Donc, ce que je disais, c'est que j'ai dit beaucoup de choses. Donc, en gros, donc ce dévot, Vamshivadan Thakur, c'était la flûte de Krishna, donc très très spécial. Tout est personnifié, tout est personnifié. Les livres, quand vous allez dans la cour de Brahma, les livres sont personnifiés. Les Upanishads, Sutashvatara Upanishad, c'est une personne. Srimad Bhagavatam, c'est une personne. Tout est personnifié. Donc ce dévot, Vamshivadan Thakur, lorsqu'il est né, Mahaprabhu était dans la maison de sa naissance. Imaginez. Donc c'est un compagnon totalement éternel de Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Il était très proche de la deuxième épouse de Mahaprabhu. La première avait quitté son corps, enfin pas quitté son corps, elle avait condescendu, comment on dit ça en français, elle est partie de son propre chef, elle était mordue par le serpent de la séparation envers son mari, Mahaprabhu. Et donc, la deuxième Vishnupriya Srimati, elle a eu beaucoup de contacts avec ce dévot, Vamshivadan Thakur. Et à un moment donné, ils ont décidé de jeûner. Ils étaient tellement en séparation avec le Seigneur Mahaprabhu qu'ils se sont dit, on va jeûner. Et là, Mahaprabhu est apparu pour leur dire, effectivement, ce n'était pas la méthode par excellence. Il leur a dit, vaut mieux partager votre séparation envers moi en adorant la Murti. Donc, en dernière analyse, c'est ce qui se passe. On adore la Murti dans Vedi Bhakti. On est très mu par Guru Shastra Sadhu. Mais après, on voit bien que les grands acharyas, ils sont plus mus du verbe mouvoir par Guru Shastra Sadhu. Parce pour eux, ça les soulage d'adorer la Murti. Ça les soulage de la séparation qu'ils ont envers le Seigneur Krishna. Il y a différents degrés de compréhension d'adoration de la Murti. Selon le niveau de conscience du dévot, on va appréhender le service à la Murti différemment. Donc, voilà, ensuite, comment dirais-je, on va continuer. C'est un peu la course contre la montre. Donc voilà, donc les Murtis sont géographiquement, elles se déplacent au fil des siècles pour diverses raisons. Des fois, il y a des attaques. À l'époque, il y avait des attaques des musulmans, donc il faut les protéger, il faut les cacher. Il faut faire. Ici même, à Nouvelle-Mayapur, on a dû, comment dirais-je, cacher la paraphernalie à Krishna. Souvenez-vous, lorsque les notaires sont venus. Les huissiers sont venus, 86. Now I have to shift back to English. They're complaining. So there was a time that even here we had to hide the paraphernalia of Lord Krishna because the place was at stake. That place was auctioned off on February 14, 1989 here. So we had to hide. Even devotees mentioned we should hide the deities. I remember. We should put them in the earth. I remember. On avait déjà préparé la boîte. Je ne veux pas dire de nom, mais il y en a qui avaient suggéré. So, it's not easy to take care of a deity, especially over a long period of time. Things may happen, Things may happen. And the deity is so kind that she follows, they follow suit. They want to adapt to the mood of the worshipper. Sometimes we have seen deities are hidden in the bushes for centuries, It's not proper, but this is part of their bhav. I want to be rescued later by this one. So, you know, this is love. It's all about love, basically. So, yeah. So perhaps I should move to the next one because he's a big person. Shamananda Prabhu. A very great personality. So, first of all, we have to remember that if we understand that all these associates are eternally liberated souls. Mahaprabhu said, any one of my associates can liberate the universe in a flick of an eye. N'importe quel de mes compagnons peut libérer l'univers en un clignement d'œil. So we are dealing with very lofty personalities. They are coming from the spiritual world. They are gopas, manjaris. So we shouldn't be thinking, well, it's bygone ages, it doesn't concern me in this kind, you know. No. We are the receptacle of their mercy. The mercy is being passed down all the way to Srila Prabhupada. Then we are receiving the mercy. It's none different from Krishna. You read about, you immerse yourself in their Lila, it's none different. Those who know the associates of Shigoranga to be eternally liberated souls will attain their place by the side of the son of the king of Braj. This is the boon here, it's a Shrutifal. If you worship, if you understand, if you relish the pastimes of the devotees of the Lord, you will attain your place by on en viendra à venir vivre à leur côté. Peut-être pas demain, mais un jour viendra. So, and we know this trio, Srinivasacharya, Nalottam Das Thakur, and Shamananda Prabhu. They are eternal, Vishnu Parika, eternal associates of Mahaprabhu, of Guru Sundar. And they came specially, they are the first, it's the first Sankirtan party, let's put it this way. C'est le premier parti de Sankirtan, ces trois-là. So where did he appear? Utkal. Utkal means Orissa. Dharendra Bahadurpur, that's the place. His father's Sri Krishna Mandal, his mother, Sri Durika. He's coming in the line of the Sadgopas. The Sadgopas mean the eternal Gopas of the Lord. The Dwadasha Gop. They're called Dwadasha, means 12. They are called the Sadgopas. He's coming in that line. So the parents, they had many sons and daughters. All the children died. It's quite still today. Why do you think they have so many children in India? Because they know out of 8, 9, perhaps 1 or 2 will go. Isn't it? Isn't it still the case? So, you know, better to have many. At least we have some balance left. So it was true in those, what to speak in those days. All of them left. So they called the boy Duki, Dukiya. Why? Ils ont appelé l'enfant Duki. Duk means malheureux. Ils ont appelé l'enfant le malheureux.
Parce qu'il lui, il est resté sur terre.
Why? Do you have any clue? Pourquoi ils ont fait ça? To prevent any further gloom. At least if I call him Dukiya, he will be prevented from getting more gloom. He's already gloomy by his name, so he will be spared. That was the psychology. Ils se sont dit, on va l'appeler le malheureux, comme ça, il est tellement malheureux que Yamara ne viendra pas le chercher. C'était l'astuce. Very high-souled person. He took birth today. Of course, it's Lord Jagannath, Parikar. C'est un compagnon du Seigneur Jagannath. As though Lord Jagannath had personally brought him in that family. And as though Jagannath is maintaining him personally. extremely beautiful. Cupid, eyes, Ajanulambito Bujo, and you know the eyes of Mahaprabhu, very long, elongated. Just by looking at his face, you become equipoised, soothed. So they perform the first, all the grains. We should, when we have children, we should do all the samskar. Like, of course, Garbhadan samskar is the first one before it comes. Then there's 10 samskar. The boy is born. Then the first taking of grain should be prasad coming from the deities. Tonso, hair cutting. And all the rites should be performed. The first day he goes to school, We shouldn't be thinking, well, it's rituals that come back on that. No, it's not come back on that. We should do it, if you have children. I remember I've done it to a great extent. I've done it for Ritoshan. So the scholars were extremely astounded by his profound intellect. He mastered grammar, rhetoric, poetry in no time. Finish. They don't linger. And all the Vaishnavas, they had a deep attachment for him. The father himself was very advanced, and he could see my son is very special. He's always absorbed in Gaur Nityananda. So the father told him, you should become initiated. It's not like our fathers. C'est pas comme nos pères. Nos pères nous ont pas dit de se faire initier. Mais lui, le père, il va lui dire, ça serait bien que tu te fasses initier. And the boy replied, he told my father, actually, I know my guru. Can you imagine? Je connais mon guru. My guru is Hridaya Chaitanya. See how divine is the boy? Beforehand he knows. He knows. He lives in Ambika Kalna and is the disciple of Gauridas Pandit. Gauridas Pandit is one of the Dwadasha Gop of Lord Krishna. He's a Gopa from the spiritual world. Gauridas Pandit, then Hridaya Chaitanya, then Shamananda. So the boy told his father, their lordships always reside in that house. I want to become his disciple. But how will you go there? It's quite far. It's Orissa to Bengal. On foot it's far. Don't worry, father, I will... there's a lot of pilgrims going there to take baths in the Ganga. I will join them. Donc je vais aller avec les pèlerins qui vont là-bas. C'est au bord du Gange, Ambika Kalna. So the father thought for a while and he said, yes, you may go. So they went to Godadesh, which is the part of Bengal which is north, right? It's further north. So then on the way he stopped in Navadvip, Shantipur, Ambika Kalna. And can you please, he was asking around, can you please indicate to me the house of Gauridas Pandit? He offered his obeisances even to the Mandir when he got there. And at that time, Hridaya Chaitanya happened to walk by. And he looked at the boy, who are you? He declined he revealed his identity. It's very important in those days. You have to specify your gotra. Who are you? Now in Kaliyu you say, well, my name is this, Bas. No, you have to reveal the whole thing. People will acknowledge you by your details. It's very important in those days. So what does he say? I have come to serve you, lotus feet. My home is at Darendra Bahadurpur. So he tells everything. I just came to serve you. This is my village. I was born in that Gotra, Sadgopa. My father's name, Shri Krishna Mandal. My mother's name, and my name is Dukhiya. This is how they used to introduce themselves in those days. So Hridaya Chaitanya is very pleased because that boy has a very soft demeanor, very beautiful speech. We judge somebody by the speech, Prabhupada used to say, unless someone speaks out, you don't know who is who. He may be a fool, number one. He's well decked out, three-piece suit. When you start speaking, you can judge them. You can judge the person. So it's very sweet. His speech is sweet. From now on, he's not even initiated. Hridaya Chaitanya is telling him, your name will be Krishna Das. And Hridaya Chaitanya told him, I thought someone would come today. I had that thought. So he began his service with great devotion, and finally he got initiated. He could see, Hridaya Chaitanya could see immediately firsthand, this person is special. Just like when Prabhupada met Gogomina, he told him, first question, first exchange, did you take sannyas? He didn't ask him, who are you, how's the weather? Did you take sannyas? No, I'll give you sannyas. This is their introduction. They can recognize themselves immediately on the spot. Same here. The boy is so intelligent, very devoted. And immediately he told him, not immediately, after some months, you go to Vrindavan to study literatures under the tutelage of Jiva Goswami. So it's very important, we are a line of Shiksha. Diksha and Shiksha are the same, yes. But to be, you must have noticed, one way or the other, Shiksha line is predominant in our Gaudiya. Can you give me some examples where Shiksha, in particular devotees, we can see the Shiksha has taken more emphasis?
Bhaktivinoda Thakur.
I can sing, but this one I don't know, you can tell us, Prabhu.
No, the details I cannot remember, but you see, it was...
Oh yeah, you're right. He was a Tattvavadi.
Yeah,
He was a Tattvavadi, yeah. You're right. Narottam Das Thakur and Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Bhaktivinoda Thakur was initiated by Bipin Bihari Goswami, who's actually Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati didn't like so much, Bipin Bihari Goswami. And later down the road, Bhaktivinoda Thakur took shelter of Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. So we can see. And Narottam Das Thakur, initiated by Lokanath Goswami, but who trained him up? Jiva Goswami. Same here. Hridaya Chaitanya, residing in Bengal, is sent to Vrindavan to be trained by Jiva Goswami. It's often the case. Yes. So, Shri Krishna Das immediately, as you know, of course he bowed down and agreed. What can he do? He's his guru. And he set out on an auspicious day. He gave him many instructions, and you serve the Goswamis of Vrindavan, you know. So he went there, Dukhi Krishnadas, his name is Dukhi Krishnadas. But on the way he went to Navadvip. And he asked for the house of Jagannath Mishra Bhavan. Bhavan means house. Who is left? Practically everyone is gone from the time of Mahaprabhu. Ishan Thakur is left. Ishan Thakur was very, actually he had received the order from Mahaprabhu, you serve my mother, Sachimata. And it's quite amazing, this personality, because he was a disciple of Avatacharya, and he was around 70, and Sachimata told him, you get married. Can you imagine? Sometimes it's mind-boggling, you know. You get married, he was 70. His name was Ishan Thakur. So he met that person. And immediately the young boy, he's young, he's compared, Ishan Thakur must have been 80 or something, 90. He offered his obeisances and introduced himself. He got blessed by Ishan Thakur. And on the way, then he set out for Mathura. It's a long walk, huh? Can you imagine, Navadvip to Mathura? About 2,000 kilometers, or I don't know. On the way, he stopped in Gaya. What happened in Gaya? Well, Mahaprabhu was gone long ago. This is the place where Mahaprabhu received Harinam. Yeah, Gaya. And if you go to Gaya, you can see the footprints of Lord Vishnu. It's an amazing place, you know. And it's not a small footprint. It says Lord Vishnu went there, put his foot in Gaya. This is Bharat. Bharat is Prabhupada told Ridhana Maharaj, you know what he said? He said, Bharatvarsh is the greatest place in the universe. Not on the planet Earth. He said this is the greatest place in the universe. He told Ridhana Maharaj. So, from Gaya he went to Kashi. Kashi is very famous by the name of, three names, Varanasi, Benares, Kashi. It's a very holy place, Kashi. And there was still Chandrasekhara, not the same. And Tapan Mishra. So, old, because remember, when Mahaprabhu went long back to that Benares, they hosted him. So they blessed him, and finally he entered Mathura. So it's a long walk. Vishram Ghat, I'm going to have to stop anyway. No way I can finish. So he went to darshan of Adikeshav Mandir in Mathura, to the dust of Mathura. Mathura is very old. Mathura is mentioned in the Shruti. Mathura is millions of years. You know how old is Mathura? You know who created Mathura? When Shatrugna in Treta Yuga, who is Shatrugna, one of the brother of Ram, he went into the forest and he established Mathura. So Mathura is at least 1.6 million years old. C'est à peu près 1,6 million d'années, Mathura. C'est une ville qui a été fondée par Shatrugna, un des frères de Ram au Treta Yuga. Donc il a été là. Jai Shri Vamshivananda Thakur ki. Jai. Shri Shyamananda Prabhu ki. Jai. Shri Krishna Ras Yatra ki. Jai. Shri Balaram Ras Yatra ki. Jai. Shri Radhakund Prakot ki. Jai. Gaur Pramanande. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Madhavendra, Puri, Prabhu.
J'ai arrêté la Prabhupada qui. C'est pas facile de traduire avec moi.
Ouais, c'est qu'il y a tellement de détails, c'est bien.
Moi je peux faire les deux, mais là ça double